Good evening, everyone. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for Varsity Volleyball competition. Please welcome our guests from Lyman High School. They are the Greyhounds. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we ask that you please stand as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red loud, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And now, let's meet the lineups, beginning with our guests from Lyman and starting with their reserves. Number 7, Noella Chapin. Number 13, Abigail Armstrong. Number 14, Annalise Patino. Number 20, Lila Povek. And number 24, Camilla Trinidad. The starting libero for the Greyhounds is 5'3" sophomore, number 11, Taylor Moore. And starting on the court for the Greyhounds in service order, serving first, is 5'7" senior defensive specialist, number 10, Nova Holmberg. Second in the rotation for the Greyhounds is 5'10" sophomore, middle hitter, number 2, Devin Bromfield. Third in the rotation for the Greyhounds is 5'8" sophomore setter, number 5, Heidi Thornhill. Serving fourth for the Greyhounds, 5'6" junior outside hitter and defensive specialist, number 3, Sloan Humphrey. Fifth in the rotation for the Greyhounds is 5'9" junior middle hitter, center and right outside hitter, number 23, Shyla Baldwin. And finally, for the Greyhounds, serving sixth is 5'6" sophomore outside and opposite side hitter, number 9, Emma Adepaka. The Greyhounds are coached by Hunter Parrish with assistant coach Anthony Phillips. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting with their reserve, 5'8" senior defensive specialist, number 3, Lindsay Delgado. The starting libero for the Mustangs is 5'5" sophomore, number 4, Eliana Sanchez. Starting on the floor for the Mustangs, serving first, 5'8" senior center, number 9, Lily Sayers. Second in the rotation for the Mustangs, 5'8" senior outside hitter, number 10, Brianna Beaton. Third in the rotation for the Mustangs is 5'8" senior middle blocker, number 7, Cameron Holman. Serving right side hitter, number 14, Asanya. Fifth in the rotation for the Mustangs, 5'7" senior outside hitter, number 11, Blackman. And finally for the Mustangs, serving sixth, 5'8" junior middle blocker, number 2, Sarai McFadden. The head coach of the Mustangs is Heather Lorenz with assistant coaches Alyssa Marino and Taylor Allard. The officials for tonight's game are from the Florida Professional Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. Once again, for those of you here in the arena, we would like to invite you to let your friends and family back home know that we are live streaming tonight's game. We are on YouTube and the NFHS network. You can see on the screen in front of me here at the score table. That is our live stream going out and being simulcast right now. Again, that is NFHSnetwork.com or the NFHS Network app. Or we simulcast on YouTube, so even if you are not a member of the NFHS network, no problem. You can just pull us up on YouTube. The channel name is Wekiva Sports. That's youtube.com/Wekiva Sports. Or open up the YouTube app on your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device, and search for Wekiva Sports. And we'd like to welcome those of you who have done just that. Welcome to Mustang Arena. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School these last 17, now 18 years. And I am joined, as always, tonight by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through tonight's midseason contest where, Neil, Wekiva looking to stay on the right side of 500.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And once again, an excellent job. Of course, nobody does the pregame festivities as well as you do. The man who does it all even sings the Star Spangled Banner. And as you mentioned, Mark, Wekiva looking to stay on the right side of 500. They're 7-6.
The Mustangs have the opening service of set number 1. Leading their rotation is number 9, Lily Stiers.
And we are underway at Mustang Arena. 3-set, best out of 5 for varsity, and a 1-0 lead. As Humphrey unable to get that ball over the net, 1-0 Wekiva. And of course, Wekiva 7-6, that's what Mark was referring to. They've only had one winning season in 17 years. That was 2009, 13, and 11. So it's been since 2009 that they have been over 500, 13 games into the season.
A little glitch with our computer that, as they call it, the blue screen of death. But we got it back up and running quickly. And we are at 3 serving 3 now. Lyman in control of the service.
Yes, and that is the libero Holmbeck serving, and now 4-3, Wekiva with the lead, their second lead in this match. Again, before we were so rudely interrupted by digital technology, Wekiva 7-6, first time since 2009 they've been over 500 this deep into the season, 13 matches, as Delgado on the service, that's Sanchez on the service. Longer rally, and then Sanya slams it into the net, 4-4 now. On the other side, Lyman coming in with a 3-8 record. However, this is a rematch, and they won the first set.
Service back to Lyman. Next up, Heidi Thornhill.
So Lyman coming in at 3-8. This is not a rematch. And they'll make that 5-4.
Thornhill with an ace.
This game was originally scheduled back during the first week of September. It was moved to tonight, the 23rd. So please bear with me. Got a little bit confused there. Again, Wekiva now trailing 5-4. Looking to go 8-6. They come off the Metro Conference Championship Tournament. A 1-2 record there. So a winning record in non-conference. Let's give the point to...
Go by Shyla Baldwin. It's her first tonight.
And a 6-4 lead for Lyman, the largest of the game. And on the serve is the number 3 server, Heidi Thornhill, the setter, 5'8" sophomore. And a nice ace there. Getting that ball low and to the left side of that middle line. So Thornhill.
Second ace for Heidi Thornhill.
Thornhill, 19 aces, 16.5%, 87.8 service percentage. At the other side, looping it over is Blackman, the return for Lyman. Free setup for Wekiva. Delgado hitting it over. That's Humphrey sending it in for Lyman. Back out the other side now. Wekiva sets, hit over by the libero Sanchez. The set and the attempt by Humphrey, and looked like indecision there. 7-5 now, Lyman with the lead.
Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, number 3, Lindsay Delgado.
Delgado on the serve, as you just heard Mark say. It's Mark Barchi, who's also a public address announcer. The set from Thornhill, hit over, and that'll be a point. Ripping it past that back line. 8-5 lead now for Lyman. So getting back
with the kill, and service goes to Sloan Humphrey.
So back to Wekiva's record again, 7-6. Nothing to write home about in itself when you look at it through the prism of just a record. But again, this is the deepest into the season that they've been over 500. They've had a number of seasons where they won less than 5 games. So certainly a much better team, as that'll make the score 9-5. Again, that ball ripped past the back.
Humphrey.
Again, the ball ripped past the back line. And Wekiva, again, it's been a very up and down season. They've never been more than 1 game under 500, never more than 1 over, but that is quite an improvement for this Wekiva program. As Beaton unable to find the top of the net, and it's a 10-5 lead now for Lyman. They're starting to get some separation in that lead. They were down 4-3, a 7-1 run since then. As that's Humphrey on the serve. And Blackman, look again like indecision, pops it into the net. Got some heat on that ball, but not high enough. So Humphrey continues on the serve. An 8-1 run now, make that 9-1, an unforced error by Wekiva, 12-5 the score.
Yeah, officially an ace for Humphrey since the ball was not handled, but that was a returnable ball.
20 aces coming into tonight's match for Humphrey.
Now Humphrey, you also notice, is going back and forth between the left and right side of the service line. And here she gets an ace, kind of discombobulating Wekiva. Every other serve is coming from a different spot. So that's a versatility that you look for in a server. Most servers find the spot that they like and stick to it.
Yeah. Humphrey also with a 90% serve percentage, 91 points. Again, those are coming into tonight's match. About 100 fans in attendance. Thank you for joining us here at Mustang Arena. An unforced error out of bounds, and that's a break that Wekiva needs, cuts the lead to 13-6.
Service back to the Mustangs. Next up, Micaiah Blackman.
So Blackman, the outside hitter, 5'7" senior, and she finds no.
Just a bit too much.
So that'll up the lead back to 8, 14-6. Trying to get a little too fancy there for Blackman.
Service back to the old Greyhounds. Shiloh Baldwin is next up in the rotation.
Trying to get that outside, just inside the line. Ball put into play by Baldwin, the 5'9" junior, and just as quickly, Wekiva answering. Finding
Mustangs
the middle.
kill by number 2, Sarai McFadden. Service back to the Mustangs, and McFadden will also have the next service for Wekiva.
It's like baseball. When you make the last out of an inning on the field, you come up the first batter. So McFadden now with 46 kills coming into tonight's game. Wekiva needs to get a run themselves. A 9-1 run right now by Lyman, the difference. As Blackman saves it on that back line. Beaton trying to locate it, going cross court. and runs into the net instead. So they continue to trade points since 13-5.
Service back to the Greyhounds. Next in their rotation, number 9, Emma Athabakar.
Adabasar, the outside hitter, 5'6" sophomore with the jump serve. Wekiva down 15-7. They need to get some points in a run, and that'll certainly help.
Cam Holman has the Mustangs kill.
That ball slapped off of Humphrey, unable to handle the hard kill.
Service back to the Mustangs. Lily Stiers up next for Wekiva.
Stiers, the setter, senior setter. Number 1 setter. The jump serve. Into the middle, slow hit over. Free setup for Wekiva. Beaten, the two-handed attack. Back the other way, see what Lyman does, and perfectly placed. That was Humphrey dumping it in the middle of the defense. A 16-8 lead now for Lyman.
Kill by Humphrey, service back to the Greyhounds. Next in their rotation, number 10, Nova Holmbeck.
Holmbeck, the number 1 server, puts it in play. Delgado taking over for Wekiva, back to the Wekiva side again. Sanchez, Blackman, back and forth. Holman saves it on the back line, and too much heat. That's Holman unable to catch up under it before it gets into the net. 9-point lead now for Lyman, coming in with a 3-8 record, so certainly a victory would do wonders for them heading into the final third of the season. As Holmbeck, soft tap at the other end. That was Humphrey, rejected by the Wekiva front line. Trying again is Lyman. This time they find it perfectly. Antipasar dumping it.
With the kill. Her third tonight. 18 serving 8 now, and Wekiva needs to come up with some answers pretty quickly here.
Antipasar with 35 kills entering tonight's match. As Holmbeck continues on the serve. Holmbeck, 86.6% serving. Sanchez hits it over. Humphrey. Wekiva with the answer, and another answer there by Brumfield. Diving by the libero. Lyman hits it over. The set by Stiers. The attack from Holman, and another unforced error right into that net into the net. And the 11-point lead now for Lyman. Best of 5 in varsity action. Wekiva JV taking the JV match. 2 sets, the second one going into overtime. Winning 28-26, and an unforced error. Wekiva much needed.
Side out service back to the Mustangs. Section of the rotation for Wekiva. Number 10, Brianna Beaton.
Beaton, the number 2 server, 5'8" senior outside hitter, with the set serve. Ball hit backwards by the libero. Slapped over by Humphrey and out of bounds. And Wekiva, it's been a while since they've gotten 2 consecutive points. More importantly, cuts the lead down to 19-10. So Beaton coming into tonight's match with 9 aces, the best server at 96%. She gets 2 consecutive. And an unforced error, that was Delgado, who just hit that ball backwards, didn't really camp underneath it and set up. And now back to 10-point lead, 20-10 for Lyman. Chance to close out this first victory. And Holbeck will be serving the 5'7" senior libero. Likes that jump serve. Beaton saves it at the back line. Blackman pounds it into the back line, and the libero and server.
Kaya Blackman has the kill for the Mustangs, her second tonight.
Holmbeck unable to handle that low and to the side return. So Sanchez will be back on the serve. Of course, you hope it's not too little too late now for Wekiva. Facing that 9-point deficit. And
yeah, that was out on the attack there by Ashayla Baldwin. In fairness to her, though, she had really, really difficult placement on that. That was a hard one to save.
Trying to catch that left sideline. So Sanchez back on the serve, of course, as the libero.
And a miscommunication there between Baldwin and Humphrey will give the Mustangs another freebie. They certainly could use them now.
3 consecutive points, the first time they've done that throughout this first set. We are in set 1. It's best of 5, so certainly not the end of the world if Wekiva cannot rally here. But certainly life is a lot easier when you win the first set. Up into the ceilings, that does count. And it turns to Wekiva's advantage, and now Coach Parrish has seen enough after giving up 4 consecutive points. Wekiva trying to rally and make us competitive heading into the 20s. 20-14 the score. Lyman has led for most of set 1. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mustangs have the service 14, serving 20. And in control right now is Eliana Sanchez.
Wekiva scoring 4 consecutive points, their longest run with Delgado on the serve. Sanchez on the serve. Ball ripped through that middle by Holmbeck. Nice job by Wekiva, but they're unable to set, and the 4 consecutive points comes to an end. So Coach Parrish calling timeout pays dividends immediately, breaking the 4-0 run for Wekiva.
Service back to the Greyhounds with number 5, Heidi Thornhill.
And now they only need 4 more points to take set 1, best of 5 in varsity. That's Blackman. At the Passar, sets hit over by Humphrey. Wekiva will try to answer. That's Blackman again, the Wekiva's leading killer. Humphrey, save, gotta get it over. Beaton does, but does not find the inbounds. And now 2 consecutive points, 22-14 lead for Lyman. So Wekiva 7-6. Well, obviously, if they lose, they'll still be at 500, but opportunity to go 2 points above for the first time since 2009 this late in the season.
Greyhound ace scored by number 5, Heidi Thornhill.
So Thornhill with 19 assists and an 87.8 percentage serving coming into this match. She'll try to close out this set 1, needs 2 more points. That's Blackman. Make that 1 more point. It's Blackman unable to time her jump and hit just right. Slams it into the net.
Set point, Greyhounds.
And so as you just heard Mark Barchi, who's also our public address announcer, Heidi Thornhill, the 5'8" sophomore setter, chance to close it out for Lyman, and that's exactly what she does with the ace. Unable to return Wekiva as that ball would cross the board.
End of set number 1. 25-14 is the final score of the first set, and the Greyhounds take a 1-set lead over the Mustangs. Back with more from Mustang Arena after a quick break.
night affair between the Lyman Greyhounds. They are the visitors in the blue jerseys against the home-standing Wekiva Mustangs in the white jersey. Lyman winning set 1, 25-14. They were down 4-3, and then put together a 12-3 run. And as they say, that was the proverbial lead that they never relinquished. And so we start set 2. Wekiva with some work to do here. It's best of 5 at the varsity level.
The Greyhounds have the opening service of set number 2. Nova Holmbeck leads their rotation.
And so Nova Holmbeck, the number 1 setter, she's the libero, 5'7" senior, who had a big hand, actually closed out that first set. She goes to work, and was that a net?
Is that Cam or Brianna?
Cam Holman has the first kill of the second set.
So Wekiva with the 1-0 lead, and obviously no net was touched.
Sonia back in for the Mustangs, leading the rotation for Wekiva. Number 9, Lily Stiers.
Stiers, as you just heard Mark Barchi, our public address announcer, say, on the serve, the senior setter. She'll be followed on the serve by Brianna Beaton, Cameron Holman, Sanaya Asanya, Micaiah Blackman, and McFadden, Sarai McFadden, as we are now tied 1-1 early in set 2.
Sloan Humphrey on the kill. Service back to the Greyhounds.
So Wekiva again, if you did not join us in set 1, talked about it. Lyman comes in 3-8. They've had a very difficult schedule, though. Their lone victories coming against Edgewater, University, Wekiva, on the other hand, 7-6 as they now go up 2-1. This is the latest in the season since 2009. They've been over 500.
Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, Brianna Beacon.
A 2 games, 2 victories above 500 mark would certainly do wonders for the program. But they got to win the first set here. And Sonia looked like she had some indecision where she wanted to set that.
Service back to the Greyhounds with Heidi Thornhill.
2-2. Ball put into play. That's Stiers, the setter, setting. At the net, set for Baldwin. Wekiva sets themselves now. Blackman. The set. Holman. Humphrey. And she scored the point.
Line number 3 is Sloan Humphrey.
Ripping and also locating that ball right along the right sideline. And it's 3-2 lead now for Lyman. Wekiva led just once in that first series. It was 4-3. And then once again, they had the Lyman ripped off the 12-3 run. As the ball digged by Beaton. Save. Hit over. The set. Seen this a lot tonight. Humphrey going to that right sideline. This time she can't locate it inside the sideline, and it's 3-3.
Service back to the Mustangs. Up next is libero server number 4, Eliana Sanchez.
Set 2. Wekiva down 1-0 on this Monday night matchup. It's an inter-conference. Lyman, a member of the Seminole Conference. Wekiva, a member of the Metro Conference, as Lyman takes the 4-3 lead. Score the point to Thornhill as she dumped it in right between the 2 defenders. And back on the serve is number 3, Sloan Humphrey, the number 4 server. The jump serve pays off. Wekiva sets. Blackman. Barrels that ball past the Lyman defense. Ties the score at 4-4. So the defense unable to bring that ball down, hit the top of their fingertips and slid off and out of bounds. And so Delgado continues on serve, the senior defensive specialist. Delgado entering tonight's match with 21 aces and an 84 serve percentage. And now the serve and the point stays with Wekiva, 5-4, 4-2 3 straight points now with Delgado on the serve. The liberos. Meanwhile, Wekiva setting. That's McFadden. Dug up there by Humphrey in the set. Hit over. Free set for Wekiva. See what they do here. It's just hit over by McFadden. Confusion on Wekiva's side. Trying to slam that through with Humphrey. And now Blackman doing the same on the other side. The libero saving that. Set. A second set. Baldwin pounding it over. Wekiva again serving. Longest rally of the second set. Now over to the right side. The soft dump. Steyer saves it. Set. That's Blackman hitting it over. Blackman again, and unable to time or jump and hit right. We are tied at 5-5. The net getting
Service
it
back
away.
to the Greyhounds. Next in the rotation for Lyman, number 23, Shiloh Baldwin.
So Baldwin, the 5'9" junior hitter, and she slams it right into the net. Good heat on it, but unfortunately accuracy too low.
Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, number 11, Micaiah Blackman.
So Wekiva back with the 6-5 lead, as you just heard Mark say. That's Mark Barchi, our public address announcer. I'm Neil Fisher. And score the point to Anta Passer. She pounds that ball.
Kill by number 9, Emma Atapakar. She'll also have the next service.
And we are tied at 6-6. Anta Passer. 21 aces coming into tonight's game, 87% serve. That's Taylor Moore, the libero. The second set finds its way over to Holmbeck, who storms that ball past into the front line of Wekiva, and a 7-6 lead now for Lyman, back in the lead. It's their first lead of the second set. They do have a 1-0 lead in sets, winning the first set 25-14. And now a 2-point lead, as that ball was too low for Wekiva to set on the return. So again, Lyman out of the Seminole Conference, located over in Longwood, as they now have that 9-6 lead, and they've scored 4 in a row. Located on Ronald Reagan Boulevard between 1792 and 434. And Taylor Moore unable to dig that one up. Gives
Sloan
the point
Humphrey
to
gets the
Wekiva.
Mustangs kill. Excuse me, that's number 3. That's Litzy Delgado. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, Sarai McFadden.
So Delgado with the excellent placement. And Wekiva getting some much needed points, breaks up that run. And just as quickly, Lyman answers the pound and ground attack from Holmbeck.
That's no Holmbeck on the kill.
Now a 10-7 lead for Lyman. Looking to go to 4-8. It's been a long season so far for the Greyhounds. They have had a more than average schedule in terms of difficulty, though. So far tonight, they've looked like a team that's anything but 5 games below 500. Very competitive against Wekiva. And there you see it again, is now the 11-7.
Holmbeck on the ace, her second tonight.
Holmbeck, the number 1 server, continues on the serve. 3 straight points for the senior. Wekiva needs an answer. They need to put together a run. The set, the attack from Humphrey, saved. Steyer sets, it's a setter, and she probably would have been better off letting one of her teammates set that one up. 12-7 lead now, and Coach...
The Mustangs request their first time out
Coach
of set number 2.
Coach Lorenz wanting to talk it over. Wekiva with the 4-1 run, but still down 12-7. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. We'll be back for the conclusion of set 2. Wekiva trailing 1. And back to live action from Mustang Arena. Unfortunately, the home team, Wekiva Mustangs, trailing the Lyman Greyhounds 1-0 in 12-7 in set number 2. Right, that 13-7, now a 9-2 run.
And I'm not sure what Coach Lorenz told them to do during the timeout, but I don't think that was it.
No. So looking at the other side, of course, Coach Parrish, the Lyman coach, didn't look like he was talking a lot about strategy, just more of a keep up what you've been doing. They came out after about 20 seconds. Coach Lorenz using that entire timeout. So again, the difference right now in set 2 is the current run, 9-2. Lyman's make that 10-2 and score the point to Humphrey, pounding that ball past the back line.
Gets the kill for.
So Antipasar pounding that ball, perfectly placed, not just in terms of the force, but to the right side, across the body. And now Holmbeck, the number 1 server, and libero continues on the serve. 4 straight points with her on the serve. Some confusion, and Wekiva takes advantage. Holman.
Cam Holman, Mustang kill.
So that breaks the 10-2 run for Lyman and cuts the lead down to 6.
Checking into the game for Lyman, number 13, Abigail Armstrong.
So Wekiva needing to put together a run, getting the down 6. They cannot afford to trade points. It was actually 14-7 in set 1, so got some history repeating itself here in set 2. And there's what exactly Wekiva could not afford. Holmbeck hitting the ball low in front of the Wekiva back line.
That's Nova Holmbeck on the kill.
The libero coming through there for Lyman, getting that lead back up to 7. Wekiva's biggest run in either set has been a 5-1 run. They did that at the beginning of this set. They had a 5-4 lead. It's been all Lyman since then, a 10-2 run, and now 2 in a row. After that 10-2 run was break, 16-8.
Ace for the libero, that's Taylor Moore.
Now Lyman has doubled the Wekiva point total. Holmbeck continues, and I believe she stepped inbounds on the jump serve.
Side out for the Mustangs.
Step inbounds.
Rotation.
What?
Out of rotation.
Next up in the rotation for Wekiva, Brianna Beaton.
So the out of rotation penalty to Lyman, and that makes it 16-9. Back on the attack, Lyman, they get it over. This is Blackman, soft tap. Back again the set. Holman for Wekiva. Lyman with the answer, Baldwin, and score the point for Baldwin. Putting it just out of the reach of the Wekiva defense, unable to set themselves. Get their shoulders facing the net.
Call of the set. Service back to the Greyhounds, and Sloan Humphrey is up next. Make that Heidi Thornhill.
So Wekiva unable to get their shoulders facing the net. And back on the serve is Humphrey. Nice serve, and she gets the ace.
Heidi Thornhill on the ace.
And Lyman again doubling up Wekiva's point total. So again, a 10-2 run by Lyman took him from a 5-4 deficit to a 14-7 lead. Wekiva broke that, and since then it is now a 4-1 run by Lyman. They go back on a second run and make that 5-1. As again,
Back-to-back aces for Heidi Thornhill.
Lyman continues to excel on placing that ball along the sidelines and cross court returns. They've been lethal to Wekiva. Humphrey with the jump serve. Holman. Holmbeck sets over. Stiers again, the set. Blackman comes from that right side, and she dumps it into that right back corner.
Kaya Blackman on the kill. Service back to the Mustangs.
19-10 lead now for Lyman, which they also had that same exact lead in set one.
Now serving for the Mustangs, Eliana Sanchez.
A 12-3 run midway through set one, the difference in that set. A 10-2 run has been the difference here in set two. Ball hit over, Stiers sets. McFadden from the middle, unable to get the ball past Lyman, and there's an unforced error. Baldwin trying to slap that ball down, mistiming her jump. Cuts the lead to 19-11, so some life for Wekiva. Of course, they're going to have to put together their biggest run of the game if they're going to take set two, down the 8 points. 4-5-1 is their biggest run so far. 2 in a row now, score the ace. That's Sanchez, 2 in a row while serving. Wekiva looking to go 8-6 on the season. Lyman looking to go 4-8. As Sanchez, after several dribbles, the set serve. Set for Lyman, taken over by Antipasar. Wekiva's turn this time, and back Blackman. Placing that ball with force along the right sideline. So 3 in a row now for Wekiva, cuts the lead to 19-13. So Wekiva, after giving up that 12-3 run in the first set, weren't able to close the lead to more than 9 the rest of the way. So there is something to build on, and of course, as soon as I say something to build on, the bad serve out of bounds, the unforced error, and the lead back up to 7.
Serves back to the Greyhounds. Next up, number 13, Armstrong.
Armstrong seeing some time here in the second set. Gets that ball in. It's Blackman. Moore, the libero. Hit over this time by Antipasar. And unable to get it in bounds. And Wekiva trading points. That'll get the lead back down to 6. At 20-14. Wekiva trailing 1-0.
Returning to the game before the Mustangs, Lindsay Delgado.
The Lyman Greyhounds from Longwood providing the opposition tonight, and that is too far. Had a nice arc on it, but too much distance. Eludes the inbounds, and now a 21.
Service back to the Greyhounds. Shiloh Baldwin up next.
A 21-14 lead. About 100 fans in attendance tonight here at Wekiva Mustang Arena. Holmbeck hits it in and off of Beaton. There was some pound and ground, spinning that ball to the right side of Beaton. Excuse me, the left side of Beaton.
Holmbeck gets the kill.
And now Lyman 3 points away from taking a 2-0 lead on this Monday night contest from Mustang Arena. Make that 2 points as McFadden unable to handle that. Stiers trying to set her, but hard shot to set as she was falling to her left. Baldwin continues on the serve, opportunity to close out set 2. The jump serve gets it in, nicely done. Blackman, set. Allbeck, too much power on that one, and Wekiva gets a break there. That'll cut the lead 23-15.
Service back to the Mustangs. Next in their rotation, number 11, Micaiah Blackman.
So Blackman on the serve, the last hope for Wekiva before match point. Beaten, and yes, it finds its way in. Moore thought it was going to go out. She took one step over and stopped. And that'll cut the lead to 23-16. Wekiva's still a ways to go, though. Down by 7. I guess you could say this is penultimate match point. 2 more points and Lyman wins. Set 2. That's Holmbeck, the quick hitter. Slap and dash. And set point now at 24-16 for Lyman.
Holmbeck on the kill. And that'll be a set point for the Greyhounds.
Atapasar will be serving to close out set 2. The jump serve. Over by McFadden. Oh, a dig by Moore, but the refs disagree.
Lift is called against the Greyhounds. Service back to the Mustangs. Still set points since we use rally scoring, but next in the rotation, Sir Ryan McFadden.
So as you heard Mark Barchi, who's our public address announcer, say, Moore called for the lift. Still match point, also as Mark said. And McFadden trying to get it in.
For those of you old enough to remember when we used to do side-out scoring, as we get a kill by Brianna Beaton.
That'll cut the lead to 24-18. So Wekiva showing some life here at match point. And Coach Parrish wants to call timeout.
Timeout, Greyhounds.
Coach Parrish
requests their first timeout of set number 2.
Coach Parrish looking for one more point to take a 2-0 lead. We'll be back to see if they can get that one last point. Wekiva down 24-18 on the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. Set point, that's set number 2. Lyman with the 1-0 lead. This is the Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. It looked like we were going to go back to action, but
the Greyhounds will take back-to-back timeouts. So a second timeout called by Lyman.
So as you just heard Mark Barchi say, for those of you not familiar with Wekiva Athletics, of course, Mark is the only public address announcer Wekiva has ever known. I'm Neil Fisher, his faithful partner here. A 25-14 victory for Lyman in set 1, a 4-3 lead for Wekiva. Then Lyman rambled off a 12-3 run. And to use the old cliche, they never looked back. They never failed to relinquish the lead. A 10-2 run was the difference here in set number 2. Wekiva was up 5-4 at the time. When that run ended, it was 14-8. And Wekiva has made this somewhat of a game, somewhat interesting, cutting the lead to 24-18. But still, Lyman has been in charge since that 10-2 run. course, now at match point, it's very simple. One more point for Lyman, and they have the 2-0 lead. Wekiva has to score 6 in a row. And now I believe Coach Lorenz is asking for timeout.
And I think she's just, oh, all right. Timeout Mustangs. The third consecutive timeout without a service. And we'll pause for another break.
So Wekiva comes into tonight's match 7-6. Obviously, in itself, nothing spectacular, nothing that grabs the headlines. But this has been a very special season for Wekiva, even being one game over 500. It's been 15 years, 2009, the last time and only time Wekiva ever finished over 500. They were 13-11 in that season. So again, if they can finish the season over 500, that would be very special for them. Lyman, on the other hand, a very difficult schedule, which shows in the record 3-8. They have suffered losses to Seminole, Lake Brantley, Lake Buena Vista, Dr. Phillips, Lake Howell, Geneva, University and Winter Springs. Their victories coming against Edgewater and University. Wekiva, they're coming off of the Metro Conference Championship tournament as well. Only 1-2 in that tournament, which we'll get to more in the third set.
All right, everybody's used up all their timeouts now. These girls are as rested as they can be.
One more point for Lyman to go 2-0 sets. And there it is. Antipasar closes out at 2. Perfectly placed dump over the front line.
Has the last word of set number 2. And that'll make it a 25-18 set. And the Greyhounds will take a 2-0 lead for the match over the Mustangs.
So, a 10-2 run midway through that second set gave Lyman the lead they would not relinquish. As they like to say, they never look back. And as Mark just said, Wekiva is facing a 2-0 deficit heading into set number 3 from Mustang Arena. And welcome back to Mustang Arena as we get ready for set number 3 on this Monday night volleyball matchup. A pair of teams located in 2 different counties. And Wekiva has its work cut out for itself as history has repeated itself through the first 2 sets. Lyman,
Mustangs have the opening service of set number 3, leading their rotation, number 9, Willie Stiers.
Lyman with the 2-0 lead in sets. And the 1-0 lead goes to Wekiva. So history repeating itself because Wekiva actually led by 1 point about a third of the way through both of the first 2 sets, 4-3 in the first set. They then suffered through a 12-3 run by Lyman. It was a 6-5 lead in the second set and a 9-2 run for Lyman. In both cases, as they say, to use the old cliche, Lyman never looked back, as that ties the score at 1-1. Your final scores 25-14 and 25-18.
Kill by number 2, Devin Bromfield. Service back to the Greyhounds for the first time of the third set, leading their rotation of Holmbeck.
And so Lyman now looking to close out the victory, secure the victory as the jump serve. And Asanya finds that left sideline. So Wekiva with the 2-1 lead now.
Sanaya Asanya gets the kill. Service back to the Mustangs. Next to serve will be number 10, Brianna Beaton.
Beaton on the serve, the senior outside hitter. Wekiva, miscommunication between Asanya and Stiers. And that cuts the lead to 3-2.
Service back. Greyhounds. Next to serve is their libero.
So again, while we're early in set 3, just want to point out that Wekiva, their upcoming schedule in just a moment here, as Blackman tries to power it through. It's Baldwin there. Now Lyman sets up and too far. Humphrey had the right side wide open, but could not get it in that hole, and now Wekiva back up 4-2.
Serves back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva to serve as libero, number 4, Eliana Sanchez.
So on Thursday, actually tomorrow night, the 24th, Wekiva will be traveling to South Sumter. They'll be back at home on Thursday against Evans on September 26th, and that is a varsity-only night. As the lead now cut to 4-3.
Service back to the Greyhounds. Next up, number 5, Heidi Thornhill.
And I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Monday night. The other voice you hear is Mark Barchi. He's not only my on-air partner, but public address announcer, as the score now tied at 4-4. Score of the ace. And Mark and I will be back to deliver all the action for Mustang Arena on Thursday night. Again, they will be taking on Evans in a varsity-only match. So Lyman back on the serve, looking to take the first lead in set 3. That was Blackman. And Beaton at the back line. McFadden, the soft tip. And nobody home for Lyman, and Wekiva back up 5-4.
Sarai McFadden on the kill. Service back to the Mustangs. Checking into the game to serve for Wekiva, number 3, Litzy Delgado.
All the Lyman defenders converged into the center, leaving that left side open. And so Delgado go to work, see if she can give a bigger lead to Wekiva. Yes, she does. Score the ace to the senior defensive specialist. Delgado with the jump serve, gets some help from the net. The set. And Baldwin.
Too much heat.
Too much heat. So 7-4 lead for Wekiva now. Their largest in this second or third set. And it's also, I believe, their largest of the match. Ties them for the largest of the match. Saved off the net and dumped in.
I think I'll give that to McFadden. Although you could
and
make an argument it was a team effort there at the net.
And to Passar, getting a hand on it for Lyman, but she was right up against that net and it just went backwards. Nice work up front for the Mustangs, for Wekiva, as Delgado unable to get a 5th consecutive serve in.
Service back to the Greyhounds. Next up, number 3, Sloan Humphrey.
Cuts the lead to 8-5. As you just heard Mark say, Humphrey, the junior, on the serve. The junior hitter gets it in. McFadden up and finds the right sideline just inside 9-5 for Wekiva.
Sarai McFadden picks up kill number 4. Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, Micaiah Blackman.
So Blackman, not only on serve, she's the leading killer, or as we say in volleyball terms, the leading attacker. 46 kills coming into tonight's game.
Ace for
But
Micaiah Blackman.
Now she shows off her serving ability, as you just heard Mark say, the ace. So Blackman back to work. Some help on the net. Set. Taken over by Beaton, who's now up at the front line. And the soft tip from Antipasar. This is McFadden. And she pounds it right into the net. Again, mistiming her jump in the hit. 10-6 lead now for Wekiva. This is
Service back to the Greyhounds. Next up, number 23 is Shiloh Baldwin.
Despite giving up the point, this is the deepest into any of the sets that Wekiva has had the lead. Score the ace. In the meantime, though, for Baldwin, as that ball
picks up ace number 2.
Ball glanced off the Wekiva defensive fingertips. So Baldwin. Only 3 aces coming in tonight's game. She's had a couple tonight as well. And now she's unable to sustain the serving success. Unforced error into the net.
Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, number 9, Lily Steyer. Excuse me, that's number 2, Sarai McFadden.
Sarai McFadden. And she will go with the set serve. That's Holmbeck over for Lyman at the other end. Holmbeck. And Holmbeck.
Cam Holman gets the Mustangs kill. Her 5th tonight.
12-7 lead. So as you heard Mark say, 5 kills tonight for Holman. That's 65 on the season. 36.8% for kills. And McFadden continues with the serve. She spins that ball over the net. Received by Holmick to set. Over. That's McFadden.
Not sure that's what Armstrong meant to do, but it got the job done. Excuse me, that's Matino making her first appearance so far. And Nova Holmbeck fails to dial 1 for long distance.
Well, actually, she did.
Well,
that was out of play a little too long. So again, Wekiva 13-7. This is their largest lead at any time during the match. They trailed 2-0. They led early in both sets, and then runs by Lyman put the game. Now he gave them the lead, but gave them a comfortable lead. And that was McFadden, can't place it correctly. About 2 inches outside the left sideline, cuts the lead back to 5, 13-8.
Service back to the Greyhounds with number 9, Emma Adipakar.
So Wekiva coming off the Metro Conference Tournament Championship as they catch the break, the unforced error on the serve.
Service back to the Mustangs.
Losing in that Metro Conference Championship Tournament. Again, that's the Metro.
Sanya's back into the game for Wekiva. Next to serve will be Lily Stiers.
That's the Metro West side of the West Division side of the Metro Conference. Losses were to West Orange and Lake Buena Vista. Wekiva defeating Ocoee as they now up the lead to 15-8.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in this set we've seen a little bit of a turnaround from both teams. Certainly Not to take anything away from Wekiva, their mental focus and acuity has certainly improved during the break between sets. Lyman, on the other hand, seems to have lost some of that focus. We've seen their attacks have not been quite as power levels have not been as accurate on the attacks.
Yeah, they've hit, I would probably say, through the first 23 points, they've probably come close to hitting the ball into the net as many times as they did during set 2, although there's an unforced error, and that'll cut the lead to 15-9.
Service returns to the Greyhounds. Nova Holmbeck has the next service for Lyman.
So Wekiva down 2-0. They need to win this to keep the match alive. It's best out of 5 in the varsity. The JV Wekiva did win their match.
A little bit of a communication problem there. Wekiva recovers. Now Humphrey goes for that's Thornhill going for the dump. Wekiva recovers from that. Now Thornhill again. This time she gets it. Heidi Thornhill on the tip kill. Well, if you don't succeed, I never expect you to do it twice.
Yeah, now 15-10, and now Lyman showing signs of life here in this third set, scoring 2 points in a row. With the 2-0 lead. That's beaten, gotta get it over, which she does. Received by Humphrey, set. And Holmbeck scores it.
10, Nova Holmbeck.
3 points in a row now for Lyman. And now we're at that point where a couple of points might turn into a game-defining run. And I believe that's Holman, that's Holman, who's holding her face, not sure what happened. But Cameron Holman, the 5'8" senior middle hitter. And she's going to stay in the game. So about 50 fans, 75 fans in attendance now. They give Holman a round of applause.
Check the score, please.
And a 15-11 score. Wekiva's led throughout this set 3, but this is the closest it's been since 5-4. The set from Stiers and Sonia. Tipped, set, gotta get it over.
Good pass from Stiers, and now Mustangs settle for a free ball. Coming back. And a little bit off speed on the attack from Emma Adipakar.
Antipasar
Service back to the Mustangs. Next up in the rotation for Wekiva, number 10, Brianna Beaton.
Antipasar unable to navigate that spin and 16-11 lead. Nice job of the dig. And it winds up to a
by
point.
Heidi Thornhill. That's twice in, I think, 3 or 4 services that she's gotten a kill that way.
16-12 lead now. The teams have been trading points for the last 6. So
And now we get service from libero Taylor Moore up next.
Wekiva with a 5-1 run that put them into the lead. They've held it since 10-6. Excuse me, 10-5 actually.
Blackman and the dig from Moore.
Stiers sets.
And boy, that was a miscommunication. I'll give the kill to Holmbeck on that one, but Wekiva could have easily returned that if they had a better communication plan.
And now we're starting to see Lyman put together some oomph. They're starting to flex their muscles. They've cut a 6-point lead down to 3. Hasn't been a run like consecutive points, just maybe 2 out of every 3.
Holman sends it to the backcourt. Holmbeck is there and waiting, and now a miscommunication on the Lyman side. Emma Adipakar stands there staring at her center, waiting for something to happen.
And now Coach
Service
Parrish.
back to the Mustangs, and Eliana Sanchez will serve as libero.
Coach Parrish taking that break to give some instructions to his players as well.
Mustangs up by 4. This is a must-win set for Wekiva. A Greyhound win here would sweep the match. And now we get a kill by number 23, Ashila Baldwin.
Lyman winning the first two sets 25-14, 25-18. Wekiva led 4-3 and 6-5 in both sets. Lyman then put together a game-defining run. That's Steyer's setting. Blackman, low serve received by Moore, the libero. Set. Gotta get it over now. It's a free play for Lyman.
Blackman actually did a really nice attack on that for what could have been a free ball.
Out of bounds. Wekiva's point. Or excuse me, Lyman's point. It was in.
I believe that was Thornhill who got that, and she's also serving now.
And now the lead down to 17-15. Again, Lyman closing that gap over the last 10 points or so. A very steady, if not sticking out run.
Ada Picard gets a touch on it at the net, sends it back Wekiva's way, and Eliana Sanchez just didn't put enough oomph into that one.
And now what was a 6-point lead is down to 1, and Coach Lorenz is
Mustangs request their first timeout of set number 3.
17-16 the score. Can Wekiva re-find its mojo and win set 3, or does Lyman sweep the match? 17-16 when we return from Mustang Arena.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Greyhounds are within 1 point of erasing their earlier deficit and going for the sweep here on Monday Night Volleyball action. 16-17 the score coming back from the Mustang timeout. This is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. That's a kill by Sloan Humphrey to tie the set at 17. Her
and
fourth
so
kill tonight for her.
What was a 5-point lead at 13-8. Wekiva's largest of the game, actually 14-8. No, excuse me, 15-8. A 7-point lead is now tied. Has been totally erased by Lyman, as Mark just said. Lyman with a chance to sweep Wekiva. They have a 2-0 lead.
Micaiah Blackman on the Mustangs kill. Her third tonight. Service back to the Mustangs. And, that'll be number 3, Lindsay Delgado serving next. And a beautiful service, barely corralled by the Greyhounds. They'll settle for a free ball coming back. Now a soft touch from Blackman, and does not quite get the job done. I think that was Baldwin actually that got it back over, although I could be wrong. That all happened so fast. So now it will be Sloan Humphrey serving.
18 all.
We mentioned earlier she's one of those rare servers that can serve from both sides of the court.
Wekiva with the return. No return. And Lyman takes its first lead of set 3 at 19-18. And of course, as Mark said, Sloan Humphrey serving. And her secret weapon, although not so secret now, weapon is she switches sides, goes left and right, and certainly has paid dividend. And now Wekiva not done yet. We're
tied at 19-19. Has the Mustangs go. Service back to Wekiva. That ties it up at 19 for number 11, Micaiah Blackman.
So again, Wekiva's next home game will be Thursday. That's the 26th. They'll be taking on Evans. Thank you for joining us on this Monday night. We hope to see you on Thursday as well as Lyman retakes the lead.
Has the kill.
So a much better team in this third set as far as Wekiva, from the Wekiva perspective, but still we're tied at 20-20. They find themselves in the proverbial barn burner, as Keith Jackson would say.
We continue to trade points. Service back to Wekiva with Sarai McFadden.
McFadden with the set serve and sets it right into the net. Lyman back up.
Service back now to the Greyhounds. Up next in their rotation will be number 9, Emma Adapakar.
So Antipasur, the 5'6" sophomore, gets it into play and she'll score the ace. And now Lyman with the 2-point lead, their largest of set 3. They've scored 3 straight points now.
Neil, remind me, what was the largest deficit this set for Lyman?
14-8.
14-8. So 6-point deficit has been overcome and turned into a 2-point lead. Now they'll give one of them back.
As the Mustangs pick up a side out, 21 serving 22 now, and next in the rotation for Wekiva will be Lily Stiers. But first, Sanaya Sonia returns to the game for the Mustangs.
So Stiers will go on to serve, the setter. If you're new to volleyball, a setter is the equivalent of a quarterback in football. Just as the name implies, she sets her teammates up for the kills.
That means that a setter is almost every service going to touch the ball.
In that aspect, just like a pitcher in baseball. And Saya and Holman unable to stop it. Did though. Beaten. Attack and out of bounds, and we are tied at 22
on the Mustang kill.
The cross-court attack from Beaton pays off. Just out of the reach of the Lyman defense in terms of being able to send it forward. And so Stiers will go back on the serve, 22-all, down 2-0. That's Wekiva down 2-0.
A bit of a deception, and
Holman with
backfires.
Cam Holman.
So Wekiva now has scored 3 straight points, and they're up 23-22. All 3 score with Stiers.
Yeah, Heidi Thornhill has tried that move about 4 times now, and Cam Holman finally got wise to it.
Set. Humphrey hits it over. Stiers again, the setter sets. Holman. And score the point. The kill for Holman. Just enough heat on that.
The kill. Set point Mustangs. Timeout Greyhounds. Their first of set number 3.
24-22, as you just heard Mark say. Wekiva with a chance to cut the lead down 2-1. Can they get one last point, or is Lyman going to pull off the rally? We'll find out after this break.
We'll take this opportunity to invite you to join Mustangs on the road. Their next game is coming up tomorrow, Tuesday, September 24th. They'll be traveling to South Sumter High School. Then they get one day off, and on Thursday they are back here at Mustang Arena as Lyman requests back-to-back timeouts once again. So it'll be both of their timeouts for set number 3 being expended right here. So again, Thursday, the volleyball team hosts the Evans Trojans. I want to remind you that Evans did not field a JV team, so that has been reduced to varsity only. So make sure that you are here at 6 p.m. for that. If you show up at 7 or 7:30, you will be late. So again, varsity only coming up Thursday at 6 o'clock against the Evans Trojans. As always, we remind you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We are at Wekiva Sports on all 4 of those services. If you are watching us online right now on YouTube or the NFHS network, we remind you to subscribe while you're here so that you'll get notified whenever we go live. Whether you tune in and watch the whole game or whether you just tune in and out just to keep up with the updates and pop in and out, we'll take it either way. We're glad to have you here with us at Mustang Arena.
So set point with Lily Stiers on the serve. Wekiva scoring 4 consecutive points after being down 22-20. And they need to win this. They're down 2-0. Lyman the opposition. 1 more point. And they won't get it there. That was Holmbeck
on the kill. Service to the Greyhounds, and Holmbeck will also serve next.
Holmbeck slicing that ball through the middle of Wekiva's defense. Plopped it right in the middle. And now, if you're new to volleyball,
have to win by 2.
You have to win by 2. So this is it's something of a do or die for Wekiva if they want to avoid going into overtime. It's not officially overtime, but it's equivalent, and we're going to
Cam Holman was wide left, and so we are now playing to 26 at least. You must win by 2.
So again, Wekiva.
The Mustangs will request their second timeout of set number 3.
Wekiva in a must-win situation, 24-all. They're down 2-0. We'll be back for the conclusion on the Wekiva Mustangs.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Both teams have used all of their timeouts, and we are now essentially in what in tennis you'd call an advantage situation. We are at deuce.
You could also call it the equivalent of overtime. 24-all is the exact score, and Wekiva needs to win. Of course, Wekiva, the home team, they're down 2-0. It's best out of 5. This is Lyman looking to go 4-8 on the season. Wekiva comes in 7-6, and got a quick whistle. It's Lyman's point. I believe it was a net.
4 touches.
4 touches. And now Lyman, after being down 15-8, has a chance to win this set and sweep the match.
Greyhounds.
And sweep the match. And on serve will be Nova Holmbeck. I guess that's only fitting.
Yeah, those are hard to see sometimes
server.
when they happen at the net, because it looks like Wekiva touched the ball, but it actually went into the net, and so the touches keep counting. Excuse me, Lyman, I meant to say. So the touches keep counting.
Over. Holmbeck. Humphrey. Again, Wekiva needs to score. They will not, and that will bring the match to a conclusion. 3-0 in favor of Lyman. The story of set number 3, a rally down 15-8 at one point. Lyman, that was. They wind up winning it 26-24. The 2 other sets, very similar. History repeating itself. Wekiva leading 4-3 in set 1. They then gave up a 12-3 run. They led 6-5 in set number 2, giving up a 9-2 run as Lyman started finding the corners and getting the drops in the middle of the defense. Wekiva drops to 7-7, the record to 4-8. Once again, Mark, take us to the finish line.
That takes us to the end of our match. 26-24 is the final score of set number 3. Could not have been any closer there to wrap things up, but the Greyhounds overcome a 6-point deficit earlier in the sets to win by 2. 26-24 will make it a 3-0 sweep for the Greyhounds. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Greyhound athletes. If you're here in the arena, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Those of you watching online, thanks for tuning in to the NFHS Network or Wekiva Sports on YouTube. We hope you will subscribe before you go. We invite you to join the Mustangs on the road tomorrow. They'll be at South Sumter, and then they're back here for a varsity-only set at Evans against Evans at 6 p.m. on Thursday. We'll be carrying that on YouTube and the NFHS Network as well. Until then, once again, thanks for coming out tonight or for tuning in online. We'll see you on Thursday. Good night from Mustang Arena.